Hi there. Just gonna wait a couple of minutes because it's been quite a while. I got this people texting me constantly, so it's a bit of a distraction I'll have to let go of. So you might be puzzled by the title, is because I had no plans today for the stream whatsoever, and I unexpectedly saw that Graham Hancock has a new show, and I wanted to talk a little bit about that. And just like in general, ancient archaeology, and how it seems to have dissipated in its popularity over the last few years for whatever strange reason. By the way, I am sick, got a fever, so excuse me if I seem a little odd. That's because I am. Um, and I'm not saying it's gone away, but I think a lot of it has been replaced actually by um, nonsensical architecture, which I'll get into as well, um, and things like Tartaria and stuff like that. So I'm gonna wait till about the 5 minute mark, though. See if anyone shows up, and then we could start talking. Before that, let me just say, whatever happened in Ukraine today, the retaking of a major regional capital, it makes no sense to me at all why Russia would give it up. I mean, sorry, why Russia would give it up. Um, because they had no reason to retreat. Yes, Ukraine was advancing towards their position very slowly, but it wasn't something that was imminent, and they weren't in imminent danger. So the fact that they had this press conference on TV where they staged this bizarre sort of very stage looking press conference, and they said, yes, we're just going to retreat because we feel like it. And yeah, that's about it. Well, you guys probably already know my opinion on that, and that it's a trap of some sort. And it turns out, not surprisingly, that the civilian population was in fact not evacuated, as they said. So the city is still full of people, and now full of Ukrainian soldiers. So now they're a target, and it's a trap. Everyone is celebrating, but I wouldn't celebrate quite yet. If nothing happens within the next 2 weeks, then I would say maybe they won't do anything. As of this moment, though, there's no reason to celebrate because this is extraordinarily suspicious and a move that made no logical sense. So I would keep my eyes out for anything catastrophic in that area. However, on the good side of things, some good news. And it turns out that Russia's Poseidon nuclear torpedo failed in its test. So that's great. That's probably embarrassing as hell for them that they don't get to create a catastrophic nuclear tsunami like they wish. Supposedly they did some tests of the Poseidon that failed. Hey Matt, hey Loyalty, how's it going? I'm all right. It's been a really bizarre couple of weeks, and like a lot of people I know, including myself, have like this strange sort of narcolepsy where we would just start falling asleep midday, which never happened to me before. And it's happening to a lot of people I'm talking to. I would just be sitting there and just be totally fine. And then I would just like fall asleep. Give me a second, guys. And Matt, man, you need to answer your phone, bro. Dude, weren't you supposed to come? Oh, actually, I'm glad you didn't come today because I actually have a fever, Matt. So I don't really want to give you a fever. So I'm glad you didn't come today. And you're actually in my live stream. Look at that. The Russians have had nuclear torpedoes since the 90s. Well, okay, yeah, I guess they did, but perhaps this particular test failed. It doesn't mean that they're all going to fail, of course. They just said that whatever reason this one didn't work. You have a money problem. It's been wild. Please tell me more, Loyalty. I got to talk about something in a second here. And it's a place I never heard of, guys. I swear this is a Mandela effect. It's like all those world fairs from the 1800s. And I just watched the video that I came across by accident the other day of this thing called the Crystal Palace in London. And I swear this thing has never existed before. And I put in the community post and asked, how did they build this? Apparently, this place had more glass than any structure on Earth, even by modern standards, I think. It was called the Crystal Palace, and it was thousands and tens of thousands of square feet. I don't know how many square feet. The building was the size of multiple football fields. There was pictures taken of it from the air, and it's just astonishingly huge. It has a very tall ceiling, like 100 feet tall or more. And it was built before industrial glass production even started. So how do you reconcile that one? Because apparently, like so many of these weird structures in the past, they all just seem to mysteriously burn down for some reason. And this one did. Well, actually, this one even had a stranger story. I'll get to the comments in a second. So this Crystal Palace, I don't know if it hosted the World's Fair or what it was exactly used for. I'm going to look it up. I'm going to look it up and read it to you guys. But it was taken apart and moved to another part of London and rebuilt. This is like, we're talking like 1890s. This was going on, guys. And this sort of absolutely astonishing structure just defies any sort of logic, even by modern standards. But this wasn't that long ago, right? Like, so we're just dumbfounded by ancient pyramids. And I was just watching Graham Hancock because he has a new show on Netflix. But even things in the recent past don't make any sense, which is interesting. I get instant narcolepsy when politicians are speaking. I hear you loud and clear on that one. I can't bear the thought of watching them. They just like, sorry, just a sec. Okay, my bad. Yeah, watching politicians, they're like torture to my eyes. Like I can't. It's like my eyes burn whenever I see one of these people on TV. I can't handle it. It's just too much. It's just like the frequency just doesn't match at all. So I just have to pull away every time I see him too. But you just fall asleep. The weather has been affecting me. The sudden change from summer to dead of winter snow has been making me nauseous every day in the morning until. Yeah, you know what? Now that you mention that, it's even like sudden change over here too. Even over here in San Diego, it's just seem to have completely abruptly shifted as well. And the weather definitely does have an effect on the mind, especially people who live in cold climates tend to be more depressed than usual for sure. You were trying to do a live stream? I gotta check out your channel. I did not know that you do live streams. Interesting. I would like to join yours someday. But yeah, anyway, let's take a look at this Crystal Palace and these buildings at the World's Fair. I'll give you guys details as to what the structure was. And I wish I could show you. I don't know how to share the screen live, though. I'm sorry. But this thing, I mean, you could look it up yourself. It looked completely unreal. So feels like we have the blonde version of Kate Brown as governor now. Yeah. The election was kind of a farce. I heard someplace that I think Arizona actually, where all the cameras went dark all of a sudden, right? At the same time before when they were counting the votes, all the cameras went dark. So yeah. Okay, so guys, let me read about the Crystal Palace. It was a plate glass structure, originally built in Hyde Park, London, to house the Great Exhibition of 1851. Did I say 1890s? My terrible apologies. It was 1851. So before the Civil War, for God's sakes. The exhibition took place from 1st of May to 15 October 1851, and more than 14,000 exhibitors from around the world gathered. Check this out. You're not going to believe this. I'm going to read you the square feet of this place. Are you ready for this? 990,000 square feet. The thing is 1,000,000 square feet. I don't even know what to say. Yeah. To me, loyalty, this Crystal Palace thing is a total Mandela effect to me. This is a total Mandela effect. I would have known about this place. I don't care who says what. Even if it was destroyed and burned down in the 30s. I would have known about something this massive. Okay, so what did it do? Okay, so exhibition space to display examples of technology developed in the Industrial Revolution. Designed by Joseph Paxton, the Great Exhibition during the building was 1,851 feet long. So it's 1,850 feet long with an interior height, like I said, over 100 feet, of 128 feet. It was 3 times the size of St. Paul's Cathedral. 3 times the size of the St. Paul's Cathedral in freaking Rome. Okay, excuse me, I am sick. So you got to bear with me here. Actually, didn't even go to work, which is unusual because normally they only care if you have COVID. Otherwise, if you're sick, they're like, just come in anyway. COVID, though, oh no, you got to stay home. But actually, I might have it because I had a fever. So maybe I'll get a pass this time. All right. Yeah. A PS4. Okay, I don't have any like gaming. Well, I do have an older gaming console, but I don't have any PS4 though. Or are you? Is that like a reference to something else? Okay, so this Crystal Palace Um, okay, and then after the exhibition, it was used as a national sports center. It was a football stadium for many years, and then it was an exhibit for dinosaur bones. Okay, all right, and again, so look at this. The huge modular iron, wood, and glass structure was originally erected in Hyde Park in London, housed the Great Exhibition in 1851, which showcased the products of many countries throughout the world. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, there's a bit too much to read here. You could check it out yourself. But it was moved and then it did burn down in 1836. And I don't know. I'm not like trying to say that like like people back then were incapable of like creating incredible structures. Of course they were. But like why like one question that like people like Matt from Quantum Conscience and all these people, there's a lot of YouTube channels talking about these really strange structures from the 1800s, right? And why is it that so seldom are they recreated, by modern standards? You're not saying it was alien? Yeah, it was aliens. Yeah. I was just watching Graham Hancock episode. Wait, I just lost my train of thought. What was I talking about? Right, but like for example, I've seen some of these buildings, and they don't have to be like super well known. Like for example, I saw the state capitol of Wyoming once. Hey, Penrudy, how's it going? And I took a really long tour of the state capitol of Wyoming in Cheyenne, and the building was absolutely extraordinary. Like it almost looked otherworldly. That was also built in the 1800s. It's just like, why did that style of like beauty and like aesthetically pleasing sort of style, not just in buildings, but like everything back then, right? Like so many things were made with like such, it's like they poured their heart and soul into them. It seems like it's like mostly gone nowadays, you know? Like if they could build a Crystal Palace in 1851, why not recreate it, I guess? If it burned down, why not build it again? I think that would be a cool idea. But yeah, about Graham Hancock. He's his main thing, he's been traveling around the world to try to uncover the origins of a lost civilization that existed before the Ice Age, or during the Ice Age, rather. And this first episode on Netflix is super interesting, where he goes to a place called it's some kind of Indonesian name. I don't remember what it is, but there's this really strange, stone structure on top of a hill, and all these rocks, like positioned rocks, that were brought from quite a distance away. And the common consensus is that, whatever happened for thousands of years, Indonesia had nothing but hunter-gatherer society, right? And they went through the layers of rock and discovered evidence of this structure being, as much as 20,000 years old. But not only that, they took a ground penetrating radar and discovered that there was 3 massive chambers in the interior of this hill that look completely artificial. Yeah. And it's super interesting. And, it's like the same story, right? It's like the same story. As soon as something controversial comes up, mainstream science just refuses to study it. And he has the same thing in this episode. It's like, no, it doesn't match our narrative. Well, shucks, I'm sorry. That means we're not going to study it. Fingerprints of the Gods. I read that too. Yeah, it's an awesome book. I love Graham Hancock and his buddy too. I can't remember his name. They were on the Joe Rogan podcast. I'm going to be 32 in Dallas, huh? Yeah, but at least let's hope you're not going to have that big freeze you had a couple of years back, though, where you guys almost froze to death over there. I've been a fan of Graham Hancock for years. Yeah, Randall Carlson, that's it. What an interesting character, and I love what he says about the ripples in the ground, right? Where he'll travel to these places and see these ripples in the ground, and I saw them myself. All over the place, going all over the Western U.S., even here. Um, Eastern California, when I was in Mammoth Lakes, we're driving up through that region, and it looked like a big deluge came over this place. It just looked like these massive ripples in the land. And if you look hard enough, it seems like you can find this stuff just about anywhere. And I don't understand. Like, I still can't put my mind on it, like, as to why the mainstream community can't just summon up the courage to think outside the box. Why is it so hard? And even they admit we don't really know our history. So it's just like I don't make it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, this is what I think. Like, is there someone from the top that is like threatening these people, like threatening their lives if they go against the narrative? Because some of this stuff seems that extreme. I don't know, guys. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna go pretty soon, unfortunately, because I can't feel my throat and can't really think straight. And I was wondering, should I do the stream sick as hell that I am, but already did it. But clearly, I can't really think very clearly right now. But yeah, I mean, that's all I wanted to say, though. I just wanted to bring up the Crystal Palace. That was my main point of this video. Because it's a Mandela effect for me. If you guys ever heard of it, please let me know. And there's other structures like this all around the world that were built, these massive, gigantic structures that make no logical sense for the World's Fair and all sorts of strange events like that. And I encourage you to look up some videos about the Crystal Palace and let me know what you think. You guys have a good one now. Thanks. Thanks, Chain Minds. Appreciate it.